Al gonna be available, or is she gone to lunch?
What time is that for?
12:15.
15. I would imagine she'd be down here.
Oh, let's see.
All right. I'm gonna assume we're recessed. I'm just gonna take a quick jaunt down the hall.
This lake's just about gone as far as it's gonna go.
Ouch.
So with today hitting 90 degrees theoretically, do your bees get busier or?
I'm hoping that they will be happy. I know my hound dogs aren't real happy.
What?
I know my hound dogs aren't real happy about the heat.
No,
They don't like
no. Go through lots more water?
Well, that's one good thing. I have fresh water running to them all the time, so,
Hey,
Oh,
so they have cool water.
Hello.
hello.
I think that Val went to lunch. So this is the discussion for the job description for the assistant's position between Community Development, District Court, Finance, and Sanitary. Is that the way we're splitting that, or are we splitting it?
I alphabetized it.
Huh?
I alphabetized it because I kind of tend to be a little bit ridiculous that way sometimes.
So we're
It's
gonna,
one of my quirks.
so we're gonna tie Community Development, and Sanitarian together, and District Court and Finance will go together for the other one, right?
That's correct.
So how many hours are we looking at?
We're looking at 32 for sanitarian and planning to start. And I would say with the opportunity to increase, depending on if we decrease the planner. And then for finance and district court, I think that one was also 3220 for your department and 16 for
Weren't we looking
district
at-
That
court.
would be,
What we
that'd be
looking-
36.
Is that 36?
Mhm.
Okay, 36.
Thought we were looking at one of them to help with the commission.
Yes, I think that was
Yes.
gonna come from 2 hours of the sanitarian and planner and community development position.
That's
Am
how I
I wrong?
remember it as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So finance and district, are both of these gonna be full-time positions then?
Full-time for health insurance, so they'll be over the 30 hours a week, so they'll get the full benefit, but less than 40, so they would be between 32 and 36 hours per week. And with juggling this, what you end up doing is paying a benefit to an employee who's 30 to 32 hours that is a higher hourly benefit than to somebody who's at 40.
Okay.
Because it's the same benefit. So if you're going to have multiple part-timers at 30 to 32 hours, it is more cost-effective to have less people working those fewer hours and more at 40, because then you are not paying extra benefits. That makes sense. So if you have 3 employees that are all at 30 to 36 hours versus 2 at 40, you actually get a little bit more bang for your buck from the 40s. You tend to get more work product from a 40-hour per week employee. It's something we want to think about. I don't think we have many at 32. Do we have any right now?
Only
Katrina?
only Janaea, and then I think Katria. I think are the
Okay.
only 2 that are
So-
not 40s.
So that would take us to 3 total, because we're replacing Janaea,
Mhm.
Katria, and then the 3rd person. So we would want to, at that point, instead of hiring any more part-time or 30, 32-hour per week employees, we'd want to actually bring those 30-plus hour folks to 40, because we would be at a cost savings then versus spending more per hour for the 30 to 36-hour employees, if that makes sense. I don't know if I've explained that. Mary's,
Is going to be below 30.
yeah, that's right,
Mhm.
okay.
So were you district court's looking at 20, and you're looking at 16,
I think it's the other way around.
the other way around, okay.
And something I'd like to let Val know is perhaps next year we move that to 20 and 20. Since personnel is an ongoing expense, and district court has just really bounced back amazingly, I think we'd be irresponsible to just all of a sudden go ahead and up that, but I think we definitely need to keep it on our radar. If the budget remains strong, perhaps we make that move next year to 20 hours for district court.
And you're not looking for specifically accounting, are you?
No, it'd be more of clerical, because that's what kind of takes up a lot of our time right now, is doing the clerical stuff, so we don't get to devote as much time as we should be to more of the stuff that needs our, our expertise and our education and stuff like that. And then there's some stuff that, there's a lot of surveys that get sent out from, different entities that are optional. We don't have time to do them. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that we don't have time to do, so we'd be able to get that stuff that we're not doing, that isn't required, but it would be helpful if we did do. We'd be able to get that done, and then go through and be more proactive on some things instead of being reactive in some areas. We'd make sure that all of our, the job descriptions stay updated and all of that stuff, and keep on top of all of that, and, go through all of the, personnel policy, make sure all of that, and people are trained, stuff like that, that make sure everybody's trained, everybody's got, that we have everything, all of our ducks in a row. Because we have a lot of, and then we also have a lot of more reporting requirements that we're having to deal with right now. We have, anytime we have an audit, we have audits for a work comp audit, we have audits for the trust, we have audits for, all these different kind of audits, and whenever that happens, they take a huge amount of time from us, and from their end, this is what we need, we want it right now, but of course, we have to weigh what they're wanting from us with our other responsibilities that we have. And so sometimes it tends to protract all that stuff out a lot, and it just causes a big headache. And then anytime, you know, with our budgeting requirements, you know, you know, when we have to submit everything, they're asking for a lot more, and they'll come back and we have to provide a lot more to them than we ever used to. So it just takes a lot more time.
Have you guys kind of been thinking in the back of your minds what this job description is going to look like for this person, from your side?
It'd basically be, you know, more, you know, filing, getting everything, you know, caught up, making sure things are organized, you know.
I guess I'm just kind of where I'm going is to start putting some stuff on paper.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of,
Start to develop that.
yeah, and we can kind of probably use an existing administrative assistant
Sure.
position and kind of, you know, working with Val to kind of probably a mix between the district court clerk and then kind of another administrative assistant, you know, it'd be pretty similar. I mean,
Right.
you know, the essential functions would be pretty much the same. Because it's just, you know, doing the filing and then, you know, maybe some letters and responding to, you know, some things and stuff like that.
I know we had these conversations before, in talking with Janaea, she said that it's really important for this person to get this training early on. And I don't know, we were kind of thinking that they'd be kind of a little bit more heavy towards the district court side at the first little bit to get that training, and then, is that what we were talking about?
Well, I'm not sure exactly, I think so.
Yeah,
So I talked to Val. I said, so if we were able to do just the 16 to start,
right.
what would that look like, and could we make that work, and what would that look like if we were to able to do that? And she said, I think I could work with 16 as long as I got the training done. So her suggestion, and I think it's a good one, is so the first month at least,
Right.
this person would just work for district court.
That's where it's going.
Get that immersion into that department, figure it out, and then they would split. Because figuring out the job with finance is going to be also, I think, very detailed and very difficult. But I think that gives, I think Val's idea is one that, knowing you guys, it was easy to assume you'd be okay with that. And I guess maybe I shouldn't. Would you be okay with that, do you think? And I know you can't speak for Debbie.
I don't think there'd be a problem with that, because, I mean, we've kind of been going, you know, this, it wouldn't probably make much of a difference if we just went a little ways longer without, we can make, you know, it's not like we're getting all the stuff done that we absolutely have to, you know what I mean? Just maybe not quite as fast as we could be, but that'll be fine, because then that'll be, you know, closing around, stuff like that, which would be more when we would, or whenever this happened, it'd probably be around the time when we would probably need them anyway more, you know, kind of.
Right, audit season is what you're
Yeah,
thinking.
audit, you know, and after we have to finalize and then send the budget in, you know what I mean, there's a lot of work around then, so, I don't think there would be a problem. We could make do,
Okay.
I think. I
I
don't think
think
Debbie
your
would have a
job is
problem.
much more, it's just as detailed, it's just as persnickety on getting all those details done. But I think it's a world that most people have some knowledge of, clerical.
Yeah,
I think district court is also clerical, but it's very precise and very different than most people have any
Probably,
personal experience with. So that's why I'm kind of thinking Val would want that immersion, and we'd be wise to give it to her.
yeah.
This person, you would still handle all of the HR issues, right?
Hmm?
Okay.
I think you do a great job at that. Just saying. The big time sink is the mail, and I see this person doing the mail. And
Yeah.
that's even one of those things that they could still do for your office, even though they're training in district court. So just those little things, we could still have a share.
Yeah.
But I think we'd be wise to leave that to you guys and Val to work out those details. We set up the general parameters and then let you guys work out how you work within them, if that's good with you gents.
Yeah, we can, I can kind of maybe, because hers would probably be similar to what is already in existence, because their clerk position technically is, she's just replacing, you know what I mean?
Right.
So her part would probably be easier. They'd probably, send the existing job description to her and say if there's anything she wanted to change, And then we could add ours and then see if we both, agreed on it, and then send it to you guys for the final.
That sounds good.
It shouldn't take too long to
No.
get that.
We have good job descriptions, they just need to, some of them, as these opportunities come up, just need to be updated.
Right.
Yeah. So I move we proceed with, and I think we've made this motion already, but just to be on the safe side, I move we proceed with a shared position, 36 hours per week between District Court 16 and Finance Office 20, and update the job description so that we can run and add as soon as possible. Anything missed?
I think so.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to create a job description for district court and finance combined, with district court getting 16 hours and finance getting 20 hours of the 36-hour position. Any further discussion?
Just real quick question, do you have a anticipated date that you'll have the job description and have this out for bids for hiring?
Well, I imagine we could probably have the job description done and then approved by you guys within maybe 2 weeks' time. And then we would have to
Easy, yeah.
then put it, out on the paper and everything, and or on the website or whatever.
Yeah.
So probably 3 weeks.
Yeah, probably
3
2 to
weeks
3
before we
weeks
get it
before
out.
it was
2
out
weeks, probably, yeah.
there.
Be nice to get it out next week, if we could. So, and we don't do bids for employees, we
No.
actually take applications,
Yeah, so
Okay.
put
follow
in
a process that's defined in
job
MCA.
advertisements, yeah.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Take a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion carries. So we wanna leave, development and sanitary until next week?
I
Yeah.
kind of think we already voted on
You
this.
did.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I think if we could maybe do the same thing, if you could send us the job descriptions, I think you already have, but if you could send that to us, we can email to Nicole, Sean will be back next week, I think. Get their input, and then we could maybe get that done next week as well.
Sure.
At the end of it, it would be nice to get that done. And then what our expectations are, I think just filing for the commission a couple hours a week.
Mhm.
Do you want another vote on that one?
Yeah.
All right, I also move that we proceed with the same process for the 32-hour per week employee for sanitarian and planning.
Do we have a, division of those hours, or is that just gonna be,
I would say it's kind of 50-50 myself.
There were 2 of those hours for,
Mhm. So
commission, so-
15 for sanitarian,
Yeah.
15 for planning, and 2 for commission per week.
yeah.
And as we get into it, I would think that all of these will be sort of fluid and we can actually negotiate some hours here and there.
Okay. So the motion's been made, seconded to hire an assistant for community development, sanitary, and commissioners for 32-hour positions. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. So will you do, how will you do the interviews? Will you and Debbie and Val do an interview, and then
It would just depend,
Nicole and Sean, or?
it would just depend on who would be, part of the panel. That's when we kind of decide after who's available and, you know, but I imagine Val would, yeah, definitely be. And then, you know, it's good for, you know, Sean to possibly be involved
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
I think you need to have one of us
Mhm.
on there as
That's
well.
always good, yeah.
And it's part of our policy, so
Mhm.
it's one of those that's kind of set in stone,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then there are some folks that are just superb on interview panels, and we try and bring in folks that are not necessarily involved, so that we have their input and their insight.
Okay. Anything else for Michelle then?
Thanks for coming down.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Michelle.
thanks for pinch hitting.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, let's see. Mail here. We have, let's go with minutes of July 15th and July 17th.
I didn't see the minutes for July 15th. Thank you. I will move to approve, though, the 17th minutes.
Is there a second for the
Have a second?
motion made and approved? Made and second to approve the minutes of July 17th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
There's just a couple of small changes. One of the things that, people have asked for, and it's not that important, but is spelling out of what the, acronyms are. So there's just a couple here, NACO, MACO, and then also MBAC. But those are minor, but there are, right here, Commissioner Folkford moved so, approve the authorization, move to, approve. And then on page 2, it says, he, had discussions with the petroleum board. I think he had, we just need to take out an A and an equal. Just very small grammatical things, so I would, ask that we just, I'm okay approving, as long as you guys are good with Ann making those changes. In fact, I think maybe, if it's okay with you guys, just postpone approval until next
Yeah.
week, so we can make those and have the official document signed.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
okay. Okay, we got claims here, the amount of $2,434.97.
What was that amount again?
$2,434.97.
Yeah, because it was so low.
Yeah,
I
what's
will
that for?
move that we pay the approved claims in the amount of $2,434.97.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pay claims, said amount, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, is that one claim, or is that a combination? adding
No,
up
it's,
that total?
one claim for weeds, one claim for mosquito, and then like 19 claims for jury trial.
Thank you, sir.
We have a contract with the Department of Health and Human Services for ongoing task order. I believe this goes until consideration of services provided through this task order. The department will pay the contract for a total of $30,381 for the period of July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. $30,381 for the period of July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, and $30,381 for the period of July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022.
If this is a new task order with the multiple years, we should put it on the agenda. What we do with those, a lot of them run 10 years, so the 3 might be a change in policy, but what we've done in the past, we can change this if you want, but for the original task order for the multiple years, we put it on the agenda and vote on
Okay.
it. And then subsequent years, we're able to just go ahead and reapprove.
Okay, so this will be in the mailbox. Nobody wants to.
All right.
Let's see, for mail, this is a notice of intent from the Townsend City County Air Board to the Townsend Rodeo Association and the Fair Board. Notification letter from the Townsend City County Airport Board to the Townsend Rodeo Association Fair Board of the intent to activate the need of the airport lands for the airport use north of section 2833. So this affects the grazing property that the rodeo club has for their livestock right now.
And what they discovered is that the MOU they had, it was outdated. To allow the rodeo association to graze that property, so
Oh, okay.
they're gonna allow them to do this until 2022 when the airport reconstruction begins. And then at that time, then they'll take that property back.
So at that time, will they also change that boundary in the parking lot?
Most likely, yeah.
So do they need to notify them of that, or?
Well, I know they discussed it at that meeting the other night. There was a representative from the rodeo association there,
Oh, okay.
so they know
They know that
that
that's
what's
coming
coming,
also.
that's what's coming. Mhm.
Okay. Okay, Silos Recreation Area, Department of Health and Human Services, water testing results. No coliform, no E. coli. This is a letter from DEQ for the, additional corrective action or work plan required for the petroleum releases at the former Grover Exxon 410 Broadway Street, Townsend, Broadwater County, Montana, facility ID 047957. Releases 0358-1632, work plan ideas 33891 and 33892. I called Earl Griffith on this since they wanted this paperwork supplied by July 26th, and he said he didn't think that that was gonna be possible. He was gonna call these people also, he has an issue with them using two release numbers on this. They're supposed to be using one, it's supposed to, he said everything they've done has been under this one number, and he don't know why they included the second one. And he said what the deal was there was, if they use two numbers, somebody's gonna have to come up with the other 17.5. But they discussed that at that meeting, how they were gonna handle, evidently, if that came through, then the Brownsfield people would pay the 17.5. The other 17.5 is covered by the Petro Board.
Nice.
So there, he said he would have some numbers to these guys, but he wasn't gonna be able to get all these numbers to them by the time that was done. The original deadline he was given was August 6th.
So they moved it up, I wonder why.
I don't know.
Huh, okay.
And maybe that was just, maybe the August 6th was with Brownfield and Petro Board. And now this is DEQ.
Oh. Well, yeah, huh,
But
okay.
there's no signature page here or anything, and I met with Earl out there at that, by the ball field where they wanna farm that ground at, and he said that he would talk to this guy about this, so that's that.
Thank you. it is good news though, overall.
Yeah, I
I'm
would think
excited.
that hopefully if they can get somebody mobilized in time, he's hoping to have 4 people bid on that, but he didn't know how available anybody was.
Yeah,
And I think that was another part of that too, was that he wanted to have the same contractor, because once they bring in the excavator, they don't have to, if they get a different one, they gotta pay mobilization twice, which is like $50,000 I think each time,
ouch,
or 40 or so, it's pretty spendy.
yeah.
We got Rural Montana Magazine, Regional Electric. That's it for the mail. What else do we have?
I have this letter that we need to send to the Department of Revenue. It's probably mostly ministerial, but I want you guys to look at it. Basically what it is, it's a letter that we need to send to Department of Revenue regarding the TED, and I'll just read part what it says here. It says, please receive this notification of Broadwater County's intent to create a TED containing a tax increment financing provision on approximately 1,000 acres located along US Highway 287 just north of Interstate 90, Highway 287. So all this is just a letter of intent to let the Department of Revenue know that we're going to want to create this district. Now, the size of this will probably shrink, and that doesn't matter at this point. This is just a letter of intent to let them know that we're gonna do that.
And that states that we're using 2019 as the base year?
Yes, we're using 219 as the desired base year. And it just includes, the contact people is Janet Cornish, who is our contractor, myself, as a contact commissioner. And that's really pretty much all it is, so you guys go ahead and look at it.
You emailed this to us, did you not?
I did,
Yeah.
I wanted to give you guys a head up it was coming. But but this is the actual letter, and, we'll get it mailed if we can. There is kind of a deadline on it.
We've already done the resolution
Right.
that we are involved in this process.
Mhm.
Informing our partners is, in my opinion, indeed ministerial, so,
But I just wanted you guys to see it.
yeah, I appreciate that, and I would say it's actually essential.
So when do we set the boundaries on this?
There's still another meeting that's being pending at the moment. They're trying to get all the users together, hopefully, maybe this week, at some
Yes.
point. And then everybody will still make the decision whether they're gonna be in or out. And then we'll set the boundary and move forward in the process. Okay,
I will move that we send said letter to Department of Revenue as it was emailed.
second.
Motion made, second, to send letter to Department of Revenue concerning the Wheatland TED District, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Okay,
Motion carried.
okay, I'll take care of that.
That goes to the Department of Revenue, right?
It does. Property Assessment Division.
Okay, anything else?
I do have one small thing. I did talk with a vendor, last week on having them come down and give us an idea what it would cost for a audio system.
Okay.
And probably just using our same camera for right now, to trying to keep costs down and see how, just kind of see what it was gonna cost to do something like that.
Okay.
He'll let me know when he's had a chance to assess it. When he does, I'll bring it forward.
Sounds good.
Anything else then?
Not for me.
Okay. If not, we will adjourn at 12:39.